Greetings, my fellow Americans. This is the Base Mind, the Black American spiritual superstar. And I'm bringing a message, sharing a light that hopefully will guide us through this darkness of confusion and anarchy, confrontation that's occurring in our cities and communities today, so that we can find our way to the better America that we all strive and hope and pray for. The topic today is American spirituality. Let's start with the preamble to the Constitution of this great United States of America. It says, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." My fellow Americans, this preamble represents the culmination of nearly 1,800 years of Christian spiritual evolution by the Caucasian European Christian civilization at the forefront of the global community today. The prophecy, leadership, and example of Jesus Christ was introduced into the Roman Empire under the most adverse conditions. The thoroughly decadent and perverse Roman government could not relate to the burgeoning Christian religion. The primary conflict was the refusal of Christians to pledge allegiance to Roman gods or sacrifices. Converts were persecuted mercilessly, even to a degree of being fed to animals in the Colosseum for entertainment. Miraculously, the Roman Empire was conquered by Christianity, to the extent it became perilous to not profess acceptance of Christian tenets. Despite military defeats and territorial losses, Christian remnants of the Roman Empire were able to polarize the emerging nations of Europe. The papal seat in Rome gained political influence over European civilization. The extension of Caucasian, European, Christian culture coincided with the dissipation of central papal authority and the establishment of passionate Christian religious denominations seeking autonomous redress from the persecutions imposed by opposing religious orders. The discovery of the New World incited an exodus of religious fever to the shores of America. The colonists arriving into America consisted of men and women who resisted concession of their spiritual convictions. Adherence to the diversity of religious spiritual expression practicing the newly formed nation mandated a constitutional structure that would in no way favor government sanction of a particular religious spiritual conception while acknowledging ideals inspired by spiritual consent. This was a touchy. The government had to make certain that it didn't interfere in religion, that it didn't support and allow one religion or to dominate or another, but it wanted to create a government that acknowledged and represented the spiritual convictions and beliefs and passion that existed in the society in general. That was a difficult task. A quote, "Congress shall make no laws respecting and establishing a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." Another quote, "No particular religious sect or society ought to be favored or established by law in preference to others." History of the formulation, birth, and growth of this young nation portrays a fascinating saga of man's struggle to identify, define, and dominate a host of environmental dynamics. Constructing a new nation, a new culture, a new expression of spirituality was an amazing undertaking. The Christian spiritual impetus that had propelled the ascension of Caucasian, European Christian culture had splintered in Europe, and it transported to the New World. The formation of America reflected a crescendo of Caucasian European Christian cultural achievement. What the Founding Fathers conceived, designed, and formed to bring about a new nation was truly an amazing achievement. I'm saying it was amazing because nothing like this existed in Europe, nothing like this existed in Asia. There was no prototype or example. They took from all of the societies on the planet and they created what they thought would work best. The constitutional structure of the United States of America represented the apogee of Caucasian European Christian civilization. This was the height of the ruling force that ultimately ruled the planet, took over the planet, dominated the planet, but America was the apogee of this whole development. In America, the meshing and assimilation of the Christian, European, Native Indian, African slave, Hebrew, Asian, and other ethnic distinctions evolved into a new American spirituality unlike anything else on the planet. America was a land of milk and honey. But that milk and honey required hard work, perseverance, and a willingness to engage battle to survive and succeed. We often forget the trauma entailed in this concept of evolution and natural selection. Just have you viewed some of the wild kingdoms? Just seeing a hawk plucking and eating a robin alive. It's just brutal. Or wild dogs eating an antelope alive. There have always been tough lessons to learn. Nature can be savage. American spirituality has had to endure Indian wars, Indian genocide, slavery, civil war, black lynchings, robber barons, Jim Crow, depressions, war wars, atomic bombings, Cold War, presidential assassinations, civil rights, middle class contraction, and today reprehensible corporate greed. Throughout the traumatic times, calamitous events, American spirituality remained consistent with the mindset instituted at this nation's birth. A mindset that said freedom, democracy, self-autonomy, the pursuit of prosperity, governmental accountability to the people, and religious independence were rights granted to man by the Creator. Over time, these beliefs were bolstered by a conviction that America was also a gift from the Creator and should seek leadership among nations. American spirituality was ingrained into the consciousness of American culture. The multi-religious factions served to strengthen the conviction that America was fashioned with Creator favor, had flourished due to Creator favor, and had a responsibility to lead by dictate of Creator favor. Despite the arrival of generation after generation of immigrants to the shores of America from all over the world, American spirituality acted as the melting pot that extracted a loyalty, devotion, appreciation, and adherence to the doctrines that inculcated faith in America as the home of the free and land of the brave. This faith begot a spiritual confidence in America's ability to provide refuge, comfort, and opportunity for success. My fellow Americans, American spirituality is under assault. Faith in America's ability to nourish and protect its citizens is dissipating. Confidence that America is a land of opportunity for those born here is diminishing. Belief in American values, American morals, American fairness, American justice, American history, American structure, American heroes, and American leadership is under siege. The attack angles are diverse. They include their overt, covert, confrontational, subliminal, misinformation, disinformation, indoctrination, lies, slander, and fake news. I was raised Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ. My mother died saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. I have siblings and family members who are saved and sanctified. But my spirituality was disturbed when I went off to college. I felt the teachers were subtly implying that religion was not based on truth or facts. The academic environment was inferring that I should separate my personal religious beliefs from the learning of science, which was based on truth and fact. This was quite unsettling to my youthful spirituality. After college, I expedited an intense study of religion to reinforce my wounded spirituality and deep-rooted belief in the Creator. My study brought about a consistency. A consistency emerged from my study that there was one God and one humanity. Religious interpretation may conflict with science due to human imperfection. However, religion is the original science. Religion is man's study of himself, his environment, and all of creation in order to better understand his Creator and to be more in tune or closer to the Creator. In ancient societies, the religious leaders were always the most advanced scholars. A good example of this is the Hebrew peoples. Of the 12 tribes, the Judea tribe was the keeper of the religious history. Ultimately, as the nation was forced into the diaspora, the identity of the Hebrews became synonymous with the namesake of the keeper of the scrolls and caretaker of the culture. Consequently, we have Jews, Jewish, representing Hebrew. Let's focus on specific examples of distorted, damaged, marginalized American spirituality. Today, young people are protesting, marching, looting, and rioting. Lives have been lost. American monuments have been desecrated and destroyed. Law and order is being compromised. There's an effort to disavow American morality, disown American social values, dismantle American economic structure, and discredit American leadership. That's what's going on today in our society. Young American disillusionment has been exacerbated by their witnessing another disavowing, disowning, dismantling, and discrediting of American morality, social values, social justice, and leadership. What's been the example that the young people have seen? For 4 years, Americans sat passively sedated while a massive subterfuge was executed against a presidential candidate, against the president-elect, and against the presidential administration. The presidential candidate was falsely accused of collaborating with Russian agents. The president-elect was subjected to spying and undermining of his proposed officials. The president was imperiled by a 2.5-year special prosecutor investigation based on false premises and slanderous fake news. All members of the imposing party legislature constituting both the lower and upper chambers voted to impeach and remove the duly elected president for purely fabricated, contrived reasons. We have to understand what that means. The entire Congress, opposition party, we have a two-party system, and the entire opposition party voted to undo the election, remove the elected president based on purely fabricated, contrived political reasons. Muslim Americans and their supporters, they screamed defilement when the president banned travel to the U.S. from specific Muslim countries. The president was accused of racist hate-mongering. In reality, the U.S. has been fighting wars against Muslim societies for more than 20 years. Drones imposed death from the sky on weddings, funerals, gatherings, homes, and passenger vehicles. Collateral damage is constant. New generation of American haters are created with each incident. Where is the Muslim-led uproar to question or change American foreign policy regarding the wars? I like being able to jog around the neighborhood or have my children ride bikes to the playground. The president's primary job is to protect American citizens. It's another issue. Big business, the tech industry, the Chamber of Commerce, legislators, college professors, and universities across America are enraged that the Trump administration is proposing to restrict foreign students from retaining visa status while attending college online. The problem for them is these students are subsequently removed from the job-producing pipeline that the colleges and the business have erected to assure continued displacement of American lives. The universities are claiming financial ruin if their foreign students withdraw from paying exorbitant enrollment fees. But wait, stop, please. The university is not being restricted from providing educational services. The foreign students are supposed to be purchasing education. In reality, the students are purchasing entry into America and access to jobs in America after graduation. What right do the universities have to sell American citizenship and jobs in a manner that denies native-born Americans the opportunity to live their American dream? The entire visa program was created and is maintained on a false premise that Americans are unqualified or not available for work in their own country. This is just one situation that exposes this fraudulent facade. And there's so much power and money arrayed against the president's efforts to keep American jobs for American citizens. Just so much power. They're backing him up off of a lot of these key elements, circumventing and undoing his executive orders. Americans have been fed a constant portrayal of President Trump as a racist, white supremacist, aligned with the most despicable elements in the society. History has been rewritten. I witnessed something similar to this in 2008 during the presidential contest. President Bill Clinton had been deemed a soul brother. There were efforts to induct President Clinton as an honorary member of my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma. But as the battle between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama intensified, Mr. Clinton was redefined as a racist redneck, and Ms. Clinton, who had spent her entire career building bridges and building rapport with the black community, all of a sudden she became a racist ingrate who had disrespected the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King. It's amazing how easily minds are seduced and distracted. President Trump has a long history of positive association with the black community. Black leaders heralded his support for black organizations, black causes, and black aspirations. He is mentioned or documented 67 times in black hip-hop rap videos during the past 2 decades before his election to the presidency. In all these instances, black culture was expressing admiration and respect for the Trump brand. The discussion we've had today, it may seem political, but in actuality, these discussions demonstrate the diminishing of American spirituality, a diminishing in the belief that America is a product of the Creator's favor, a belief that America can overcome any and all obstacles constraining Americans from sharing the American dream, a belief that the Founding Fathers got it right when they created this unique constitutional republic. It diminishes the belief that Americans would always find a way to function on the side aligned with the Creator's favor, a faith in our families, a faith in our neighbors, a faith in our friends, a faith in our institutions, a faith in the history lessons the lessons that history has taught us, of faith in our leaders. Those of us who believe, those of us who pray, those of us who worship, those of us who are grateful, we are the majority. And my fellow Americans, we can do better. We can take charge. We can take control. And we can have the America we deserve. Bill Gates, Tim Cook, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai, Charles Koch, Alexander Soros, Elon Musk, Tom Rutledge, Robert Swan, the leaders of the corporate world in America. I just counted 10 votes. How many votes are in the categories prior that I mentioned about those who are praying and worshiping and believing? My fellow Americans, we have an outstanding president who is skilled, determined, motivated, and committed. We should not take President Trump's leadership for granted. Let's make the most of what we know, what we have, and what we can do to make America great again. We have an extremely profound and significant election staring at us. We have some extreme decisions to make certain that we have the opportunity to maintain, protect America's spirituality. This belief that we can do, this belief that we will do, and that we are favored to achieve a manifest destiny. This is the Base Mind. Thank you so very much for this audience. Please go to my website, thebasemind.com, and get a better insight of this message that I'm providing. Please subscribe, donate, contribute, like, have videos. Please help me help us to make America all that is capable of being. Thank you again so very much. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless the believers.